3.5 acres of our own property, plus acres and acres of land that nobody had built anything on. There was a creek running through our backyard that had little pockets of clay in the edges on the sides of the creek where you could dig the clay out and make it into little pots. There was a pond with cattails in it. There was a willow that at some point in its life must have blown over because it had grown up straight, and then it had a little kind of a bench part, and then it went back up straight again. It made it perfect for us to get up there and jump from that ledge into the creek, which we did a lot, and ruined a lot of our swimming suits in the process. The one I remember was a white eyelet baby doll swimsuit, and by the time the summer was over, it was kind of a yucky gray. But I was a little sad about that. I don't think my brothers cared about their suits. There were lots of oak trees on the property also, and I used to climb up in some of those oak trees and read books. That was one of my favorite things. We would go camping at the opposite end of our property, and we would have little campfires, and sometimes we'd sleep out there for a week and just go to the kitchen every once in a while and get food and cook it over the campfire. We had kittens by the dozen, dogs, pet rats, and other rats. Goats. There were deer, blue herons that would come and hang out in our creek. Lately, my mother's had cougars and wild turkeys. We didn't have those when I was growing up. One night, as I was sleeping peacefully in my bedroom that overlooked our wonderful backyard, I heard our usually very cowardly Norwegian elk hound barking frantically in the backyard. And then I heard people yelling. And that was when the maternal instincts kicked in, and I ran down those stairs. I knew my brother was out on that tramp. My little 5-year-old brother and his friend were sleeping on the trampoline in the backyard. So I ran down the stairs, out to the trampoline, gathered up the boys and their stuffed animals, and brought them back inside. And then we watched from the safety of the kitchen as my mother and my brother were outside in the backyard by the pond that was part of our creek. And they were yelling to the dog. They were saying, "Bjorn, Bjorn, come here, Bjorn, come here." And then they would hear this awful snuffling sound as something moved towards them through the cattails. And they would go, they had shovels, and they were going, "Yeah, yeah, get away, get away, get away." And then they'd go, "Bjorn, come on, Bjorn, come, boy, come." And then they'd hear this snuffling sound again, and they'd swing the shovels and yell at the beast, whatever was in the swamp. And then this seemed to go on for quite a while. I don't know if it was just a couple of minutes or not. And I really don't know where my dad was during all of this. I think he must have been asleep still. But, at some point, a bedraggled and very confused dog came out of the creek just below the pond, and a safe distance from the raving lunatics with the shovels who kept trying to hit him every time he came near. We don't know still what was out in the swamp or what was out there that Bjorn was barking at. It could have been a raccoon in a tree or any number of things. But the story has given us a legacy of laughter in our family. And I think it will probably be one of those heirlooms that we pass on to our grandchildren. Okay, I skipped through a lot of this already. You've heard it said that laughter is the best medicine, and recent studies have shown that that is actually true. Get this rubber band off without tearing this. These are some of the benefits of laughter. There's actually a really long list, but I just put some of them up here for you. It boosts immunity. One of the websites I read said, at the biophysical level, laughter moves lymph fluid around your body simply by the convulsions you experience during the process of laughing. So it boosts immune system function and helps clear out old, dead waste products from organs and tissues. Remember that your lymph system doesn't have a separate pump. Your body needs to move around to properly circulate lymph fluid. Laughter is a great way to do that. Laughter also increases the oxygenation of your body at both the cellular and organ level. By laughing, you intake vast amounts of oxygen in huge gulps, and you repeat this process of temporary hyperventilation, and it helps to just circulate everything in your body. So so I learned something. I know personally that I have, over the last 10 years, not laughed nearly enough. For some reason, I think it has something to do with politics. I'm not sure. But for some reason, over the last several years, I've noticed that even when we play board games together as a family, it's like, okay, it's your turn. You know, just, whose turn is it? Will you just go? But we need to really relax and start enjoying moments with our families. We need to be able to make ourselves healthy by laughing and relaxing and just enjoying life in spite of everything that's going on around us. And then we'll live longer to fight the battles that we're trying to fight. Some of the things that I think would help me to laugh and relax more are to go on walks, to have picnics with my children, and to read funny books. Some of the books we read as children were by James Thurber. I don't know if any of you are familiar with James Thurber. He wrote a story called The Night the Bed Fell that was very similar to our swamp story, only with a lot more details. The Night the Bed Fell goes on for a long time. But he tells lots of funny stories. You can read stories aloud with your family and laugh at the stories. You can do Secret Service projects for people where you don't let anyone know what you're doing. It can be spontaneous or planned, but it probably shouldn't be an assignment. That won't be as fun. I've also noticed we got a puppy recently, and I know there are lots of things about puppies that don't make me laugh, but there are also lots of things that do make me laugh, and she's been hilarious, and she's been good for our whole family, because we watch her chase her tail, and we watch her bark at herself in the window reflection at night, and I mean, she's just hilarious, and she really does make us laugh. So I'll close with the wisdom of the six-fingered man and the Princess Bride. If you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything.